A badge of honor. Police officers and first responders wear badges to let their communities know they are here to protect and serve. But that's not how it feels today, and the stress of the job is taking its toll, taking lives through suicide and post-traumatic stress injury. A Badge of Honor podcast features the cast of the same name, Sam Horwitz and John Salerno. Sam, John, and the team offer the first responders workshops through their critical incident stress management teams and mental health liaisons to offer state-certified T-COLE credit programs that save lives. It's time to smash through the stigma. It's time to heal from your injury, and it's time to back our blue. Welcome to A Badge of Honor podcast. Here are your hosts, Sam Horwitz and John Salerno.
Hey, welcome to A Badge of Honor podcast with John and Sam, powered by the OBBM network, and we are growing in audience and membership each and every day. I want to thank everybody who is subscribing to our YouTube channel. Much appreciated. Join us in healing our heroes, because that's what our passion is. That's what our mission is throughout this whole podcast. So welcome, Sam. How are you today?
Hey, doing great, John. This is it is Monday. Every Monday, we always kind of play catch up with what has been going on throughout the week, and this week is no exception. First, want to say, our hearts, our prayers are going out to all of the victims and the families that were affected by the shooting in Allen. It is really tragic, and to all of the first responders who were there, who can't unsee and can't, put that experience out of their mind. We've been there. Please reach out if you need any assistance. I know there's some charities locally that are asking for funds and stuff like that, but just keep those the victims and their families and those that are still in the hospital recovering on your minds.
Yeah, and you know what? Not only the victims and their families, keep that lone officer, because if it was not for him, that lone Allen police officer who was there on an unrelated call, he stopped many more from dying. That number of 7 or 8 that have been killed could have been a 3 times or 4 times higher if our brave law enforcement officer, especially this one from Allen, did not step up and neutralize the situation. We look at the current narrative throughout our country, and I'm wearing a Chicago hat once again because we lost another Chicago officer to an off-duty shooting incident where she was robbed or she was accosted when she just got off work. She's a 3-year veteran. Ariana Preston was shot and killed. And I'm just seeing the breaking news now that 5 suspects in custody in a fatal shooting of police officer Ariana Preston. So hopefully the family can get some justice on that. But we see a narrative throughout our country on defunding police officers, cutting them, not giving them mental health awareness that they need, not supporting them, there's so much against our officers each and every day. And here we see our own hometown Allen police officer. You know what? Anybody could have ran away from that thing. Anybody could have ran away with the guy from an assault rifle. But you know what? He ran towards the gunfire. He put his life on the line for all those citizens of Allen, all those people that were at the mall, those women, children, those strangers, black, white, Asian, Hispanic, doesn't matter. He didn't look at race. He didn't look at color. He didn't look at transgender. He didn't look at any of that stuff. He just knew he had a job to do, and he did. So God bless him with the Allen Police Department for
for real. Hey, John, sorry, your mic's coming in a little bit broken up. Maybe go unmute. Because we definitely want to keep this conversation going. So that officer, absolutely, I mean, that's what we do. We run to the gunfire, right? And and that doesn't get Thanks for sharing that, John. That doesn't get bred out of us. We got a good view of your backside, so thanks for sharing.
All right.
Anyway, we show everything. We talk about everything on this podcast. So hey, we're live. Can't take it back.
Even my ass.
Yeah.
Even my ass.
John's while John's fixing his mic, I'll just I'll just let him do what he needs to do there. He's getting situated. We also want to talk about when an officer like this officer, there may be residual effects. I don't know. We're just, we don't want to speculate because that's not what we do. When you have an officer, a firefighter, first responder come forward and ask for help, and openly, the department knows that they're receiving help. It's not a secret. That person should be held as a standard, the role model, because that's what you want, especially if this person is rank and file. And, so what else is going on this week? I'm just going to come out and say it. Frisco, all eyes are on you and the city council for firing the assistant chief of the fire department in the midst of his struggle with post-traumatic stress. You knew he was in the middle of his treatment and you chose to terminate him. Boo! Bad news. What does that mean, Frisco? If you're listening and you're from Frisco, that means your city just got really unsafe. Because we are losing our first responders, okay? It is promoting the stigma of why our first responders don't ask for help in the first place. So Frisco, you're promoting that. You're promoting the stigma. You're telling your own first responders that it's not okay to speak up for themselves and that it's not okay for them to not be okay. Okay, so you're pushing and sweeping everything for all of the organizations like us at A Badge of Honor, for all that we have smashed through, that we have done, that we are trying to help with. You are undoing the amazing work of so many nonprofits out there. Shame on you.
Yeah,
you got a lot to answer for, and hopefully the assistant chief will, look, we put it on social media.
Get the help that he needs. But you know what? It's up to our first responders that are currently active on a job to call out your administration. There should be no smoke and mirror programs within your organization. If they gave you inadequate firearm or a subpar bulletproof vest, you would speak out. You would say something about it. You would turn around and say, I'm not wearing this out. It's not protecting me. Well, guess what? Do the same thing with your mental health programs. Call them out. Tell them it's not good enough. So we need voices. We need people to speak out. You guys are on the inside. Speak out. We got your back. We'll speak up on the outside. We'll say the things you can't say because of job-related stuff. We will be the ones. We will be your voice, but we need to hear from you. If you have a mental health program that's inadequate, let us know. Email us. Let us know. We will investigate it. We'll find out why, and we'll find out the culprits that are providing that, and we will call them out.
All I know is all over social media, it continued throughout this weekend. Lots of fighting words, and like I said, City of Frisco is going to have to answer for this big time. And we have a lot of partners in the fight for with mental health and beyond, because mental health, we talk the first responder game. We're also talking the veteran game. And our guest today, she and her organization that she is a part of, they're out there representing every single May, because in addition to this being Mental Health Awareness Month, it's also Memorial May, because we've got Memorial Day coming up. And we have some incredible, it's just an incredible organization. I've been a part of it for 8 years before we became nonprofit partners. We're going to take our first break a little bit early, And we're going to bring our guest on from an amazing organization called Carry the Load. I know you guys that are listening, you can see the flag right here. We talk about it every week. She will be back with us, so stay tuned right after this break. Thanks, everybody.
Move freely, America, without medical restrictions or penalty. Without medical freedom legislation in place, our rights and freedoms are one vote away from being dissolved. Move freely, America, with one voice, without fear of retribution, achieving a common goal, medical freedom. We the people make our voices heard by connecting with state legislators and engaging a constitutionally compliant medical Bill of Rights for all citizens. Individually, change is improbable, but as an aggregate, attainable. It's time to act with one voice. My voice.
And my voice.
And my voice.
And my voice.
To protect our freedom, creating one voice that cannot be ignored. This requires your voice, too. Move Freely America. Go to movefreelyamerica.org to find a chapter near you. Plug in, donate, and help our legislators defend our God-given rights under the Constitution. Move Freely America. My voice.
And my voice.
And together with your voice, we're one voice that cannot be ignored. Donate today. MoveFreelyAmerica.org.
Hey, welcome back to a Badge of Honor podcast with John and Sam, powered by the OBBM Network. Man, great opening. You wanted to do so, I guess, because I know we ran a little long with our little rants, but let's bring on our guest.
Important rants.
Important
rants. So I started talking about Carry the Load right before we took a break. We want to welcome on, she's on the board of Carry the Load, Hallie Johnston from New York. Welcome, Hallie, to the podcast.
She's from Alaska.
Thank you, Sam.
From Alaska.
No, she's from Alaska, but she's in New York.
Well, you said from New York. That's like live from New York. It's Saturday night.
Us,
really from Alaska.
Joining us from New York. We haven't.
People will say, "Are you a New Yorker?" No.
Hallie, welcome to the podcast.
Welcome.
Hey, tell everybody watching and listening about your background, because it is just badass.
Awesome. First and foremost, Sam and John, thank you so much for having me on. I can't say enough about the great work that you guys are doing through Badge of Honor, this podcast, and all the work you do for the first responders and their families. I'm Hallie Johnston. I actually grew up in the great state of Alaska. I'm very proud to say that I come from a lineage of my grandparents. Both my grandparents were in World War II. Both my dad, my mother, and both brothers, we all served in the Army. So very proud of that. I actually, 9/11 hit when I was in 8th grade, and it resonated with me then, but also fast forward, at the time of what am I going to do with my life? West Point actually reached out to and was recruited for track and field. So the day one when I started there, I'm like that. I knew that was my path forward, and figuring out what I was going to do in the military, I actually followed in my mother's footsteps, who was one of the first 100 women when they opened up combat arms to females. She became a Huey. She did the transition in the military, and I actually followed in her footsteps. If I look up at this wall, I flew the Black Hawk, which was Huey was the predecessor to the Black Hawk, and so the day that she actually pinned my flight wings on, and she gave me a print of a Huey passing a baton back to a Black Hawk. So served did one tour in Afghanistan and supported the Australian Special Forces. So we had a mission set to go after some high value targets, some of the most amazing high caliber soldiers that you have out there. When I transitioned from the military, it took a little while for it actually to resonate. And then I found the organization Carry the Load, which is really my passion and mission post actual military service, to continue to serve my country and honor the brave men and women in our military, first responders, and again, their families and all that they sacrifice, especially those that give their life on the line. So excited about this. And again, Sam, you hit on it. It is Memorial May. So Carry the Load is out there, all 48 states, and excited to talk about it.
Yeah, this is great.
Hallie, I gotta say one thing to you is you've stellar career. West Point is one thing, then to be able to fly a Black Hawk. I mean, you were third in your class at West Point. So, I mean, a stellar career. But you brought up a good point, was females in the military. And I just spoke to one of my friends a couple days ago. they were doing a recruitment at one of the hotels here in Dallas, and they what they do is they serve all the military the recruits breakfast. They get to see their families, and they fly out of DFW Airport to boot camp. And he goes, he was amazed to see the amount of female recruits to the male recruit to male recruitment. He says, and the female recruits were so much more gung ho and ready to go, opposed to the males. And I like to see that transition a little bit, man, because it really shows that you guys are badass, you know. And you guys are just like stepping over the men, going, "Hey, don't worry, you guys sit back. We got this. We got this." So God bless, man.
I love to hear that because I had, females before me that broke down barriers, and I know all of my battle buddies that I served alongside. That was also in the back of our mind, and I just remember my dad and mom telling me is if you can out PT your unit, you're good to go. So.
There you go.
I love to see it. God bless, man.
Go.
That's great. That's great.
So, Hallie, at what point did you decide to carry the load capture you, and you're like, this is where I want to go, and this is how I want to serve?
So I actually, when I transitioned from the military, I transitioned into an organization, JP Morgan. So they're actually one of the founding members of the Veterans Jobs Mission, which started out as a mission to hire 100,000 veterans, and that's moved to 1 million, and I think now they're at 2 million, and they've expanded that to family members. And so they have, since 2014, been a title sponsor of Carry the Load. So my first project with them was, JP Morgan was, hey, you're a veteran, you understand this space, work with this organization and help them grow. So at that point, they had their East Coast relay, and this was the 2016 campaign of helping them grow to their West Coast, which again, that's the 2 national relays, and now we have 5. So that is how I was introduced to Carry the Load, and it was just as if I had known them forever. We speak the same language, we have the same passions, and they've really become like a second family.
That's awesome, and it is like a family. John and I talk about Carry the Load every week, and I say it's like, if you have never either participated in a relay or just at some point along there walked, maybe there's a rally in the town, your town, or somewhere near you, or if you're in the Dallas area, come out to Rivershon Park, because it is over Memorial Day weekend. It is unlike any Memorial Day that you have ever experienced. For those of people who have not listened to the podcast, I can't imagine nobody listening. I mean, come on, folks. Thank you seriously for subscribing. We've got our numbers are just growing, and we could not do this without the support each week of everybody that watches and listens. But if you've been living under a rock, tell people about what Carry the Load is all about.
Yeah, absolutely. So Carry the Load was founded back in 2011 by 2 former veteran Navy SEALs, Stephen Hallie and Clint Bruce, and it was really birthed out of anger. They had multiple tours under their belt, and they came home to a nation which in their eyes had forgotten what the true meaning of Memorial Day was. So, I mean, their friends would want to have parties, and no one would take the moment to pause and reflect and honor those that paid the ultimate sacrifice for our freedoms. So 2011, it was really their family and close friends that decided to throw in a pack and walk around White Rock Lake and honor their battle buddies that are no longer here. Carry the Load is how, they're headquartered in Dallas, but they've grown because they have, with Memorial Day throughout May, they're traveling through communities just like Dallas, but throughout the country, and honoring those in that community that have paid the ultimate sacrifice. I mean, I'm sure you guys are familiar with a ton around of the tri-state area. One example is Congers, New York. That entire community comes out, not only due to the amount that they lost during 9/11, but the firefighters and police that they lost. That entire community comes out, and it's bittersweet because they're no longer here. But to see that support and see those that show up year after year, because it's important, not only for the generations that we have today, but for the generations to come, to know that, I have two young boys who, I'm gonna let them do their own path, but I truly hope they find a way to serve in some form or fashion. But for me as a mother, to know that the country is never going to lose sight like they did back during our Vietnam veteran age, that if someone goes off to war, the country is going to be here, or if someone decides to raise their right hand and serve here domestically as a police officer or a firefighter, that their country will back them and support them should they not return home. So,
yeah, and that is important, and especially over the last couple of years, I think we've lost sight of that. There's so much going on, and we're not a political show, but there is a narrative being pushed to really not celebrate our men and women, no matter what the uniform. Folks, if you are just tuning in, you're listening to Hallie Johnston with Carry the Load. We're talking about Memorial May and so much else. We will be right back after this quick break. Stay tuned, everybody.
Interested in starting a podcast or TV show? Worried about what you'll say and how to keep it engaging? Think you'd like to be a guest on podcast, radio, or TV shows? Hi, I'm Susan Hamilton, owner and founder of OBBM Network, and I would like to invite you to an OBBM media training to get the tools you need for a relaxed and polished performance you'll be proud to share. Our specialized training techniques include role play, voice training, and everything you need to deliver a confident, clear, and engaging interaction. Go to offbeatbusiness.com. Go to the calendar and register for a training that's convenient for you. Dates available now, 214-714-0495.
Hey, welcome back to a Badge of Honor podcast with John and Sam and the very special Hallie Johnston with on the board with Carry the Load, U.S. Army veteran, Black Hawk pilot, and West Point graduate. Could I go on and on and on? And mom of two and mother of two. So welcome back. Before we left, we were talking about, raising our right hand and really remembering what Memorial Day is always about and staying patriotic for those that we lost, that really fought for our freedoms. And we have got into a country, we've become a country of forgetfulness of why we have these rights, why we're allowed to be on our cell phones, why we can walk down the street. Any other country, you can't do half the stuff you do in this country without being deemed or stigmatized or going against political government. You have the freedom to protest. You have the freedom to scream at other people. You have the freedom to call somebody else a racist. And in any other country, you could not do that without being jailed. So as we respect your rights as citizens of the United States of America, respect those who gave you those rights. Don't ever forget that. You speak because people died. People fought and died so you could have a voice. Just like the OBBM network, you have a voice.
Yeah, and John, between your family and your rich history in service and my family, and trace my family back to World War II. My grandfather was in the Battle of Guadalcanal. My great uncle was in the Army, and 8 years ago, this will be my 9th year with Carry the Load. It was my dad volunteered during Vietnam. He was in the Coast Guard. He through the way it just happens, he didn't see any action. There's no rhyme or reason to really who goes, who doesn't go, who supports from here. But it was always Memorial Day was not barbecues and mattress sales. That wasn't it with my family. And I've told this story a million times, that when it came down to I'm graduating high school, my turn to serve, I took the ASVAB in high school, and then the recruiters started calling, and my mom said, no way. And so I did the next best thing, went quasi-military into federal service with the United States Secret Service. Worked hand in hand, lockstep after September 11th. the Secret Service, we had our last big event, which was the 2002 Olympic Games in Salt Lake. And I still have the beret. I still have a lot of stuff that the military guys that we worked with, doing checkpoints and everything to make sure that the athletes, that the citizens at the town was safe. It just it never left. And I think after transitioning out of law enforcement, you don't forget something like 9/11, certainly, and you don't forget those that volunteered after 9/11. So while we're cleaning up, New York, we've got a whole bunch of U.S. citizens taking that oath and going to take the fight to the enemy, and learning about Travis Mannion and Brendan Looney, and getting to meet Amy and that the families of the fallen at Reverchon Park as I'm walking, looking at the storyboards. It is truly an event that has helped me personally over the years, because I'm with people that understand what happens up here when the shit goes sideways. So I'm surrounded by that family that gets me. But beyond that, in the last 2 years, that Carry the Load has extended a hand to me, John, Jeff, and John, to say, hey, you guys with a badge of honor, we like what you're doing, the service that you're providing to veterans and first responders. Come aboard as nonprofit partners. Hallie, can you go into how Carry the Load, they raise money? It's a nonprofit, national and worldwide, because you can donate from anywhere. But beyond that, bringing alongside the nonprofit partners that are also furthering the mission.
Yes, absolutely. So, as mentioned previously, our mission is not to only honor veterans, first responders, and their families. So, our capstone program is the awareness program, Memorial May and throughout the year. But our second program we label as our Continuum of Care program. So, very proud to announce that 93 cents of every dollar actually goes back to veteran nonprofit partners like yourselves. But our nonprofit partners across the board are the ones that actually provide the direct healing services, mind, body, and soul, to our veterans, to our police officers, to our firefighters and their families. And so Carry the Load acts as a force multiplier in that manner. As in, throughout Memorial May, our nonprofit partners come up and they're also raising funds. But again, they're the ones that we do realize are providing that healing service. And so we want to raise awareness for them as well.
The one thing I'd like to jump in on, Hallie, is the part of caring for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
You said in the beginning they walked around White Rock Lake with their rucks, caring for their brothers who died in battle, right? I want to let all our first responders and our veterans know that you can carry for somebody you lost, okay? You get your name into the hat and carry for them. You put a picture on, they'll put a storyboard together. I think Sam, you were telling me you have to have it in by April the year before, or Hallie, can you elaborate on that? How to do a storyboard for somebody?
I'll find the exact deadline date, but if you go to carrytheload.org, there is a tab that says tribute, and you put in the information, and Carry the Load will create a memory board that will be displayed during the Dallas Memorial March. And there are these giant boards telling the stories of those that are no longer here.
And that's what means so much. And that's where you can turn around and say, I'm never going to forget you. I'm carrying your weight now. And I think that's the most important part of Carry the Load, along with bringing back Memorial Day. But it's caring for someone who fought alongside you, caring for someone who fought for you or with you in your community. And that's the big thing, is if we say their names, if we put their pictures out, they are not really gone. we'll always remember them in our hearts. It's when we do not say their names, we do not carry for them, we forget them, that their death meant nothing. It's up to us, our veterans, our patriotic Americans out there, to keep their memories alive. And going to Carry the Load and supporting Carry the Load and putting a storyboard together for somebody is how you can always keep it going each and every year.
Yeah, we're going to talk about kind of the ins and outs and how people can participate before Memorial Day and Memorial Day weekend, before, I'll say, it gets to Dallas, if you will. We'll talk about a little bit of that and more after we come back from our next break. We'll be back, everybody, with Hallie Johnston from Carry the Load.
Hi, welcome to Heroes in Action. I'm Ray Almanat, founder and creator of this training system. I originally made it so that everyone can train for free. We have programs for kids, for women, families, and businesses. I'm an author, speaker, and educator on everything that has to do with violence and bullying prevention education. If you'd like more information about who we are and what our programs are, please go to our website at heroesinaction.us or give me a call if you have any questions at 727-314-2534. We hope to see you here to train.
Hey, welcome back to a Badge of Honor podcast with John and Sam, with Hallie Johnston on the board with Carry the Load. We were discussing patriotism and how to remember our heroes through Carry the Load by the walking, honoring, donating, supporting a storyboard, or something that you can do throughout the year. And you guys work throughout the year. It's not just that one day, Memorial Day, where everything culminates together. You guys put a lot of time and dedication into this throughout the year. So thank you for that. What are some of the things, and when do you guys start preparing for this big Memorial Day event? The day after Memorial Day?
I think there's a little pause and recoup from there's a team that's out there, 5 relay teams, but the core Carry the Load team is out on the road throughout May. So they are unbelievably busy, but they take a little break and then they get right back at it to prepare for the next year. But I will say, yes, 365 days a year and honoring and have different events throughout the year. Yes, Memorial Day is saved for honoring the veterans that are no longer here, but throughout May, it's not only those that our Memorial May event. It's not only those that sacrifice and are no longer here with us. It is to honor the sacrifice of those that actually did serve. And so, there's a mix of those that serve that get it and they know why they're coming out, and then you have some folks that are unsure of how to say thank you or recognize or honor, so they come out. And so you hit on it, John, earlier about telling the stories and sharing those stories. And I'll just say, for example, my dad was a Vietnam veteran. He was in the Battle of An Loc and saw some horrific things, and he never talked about his service ever. Since actually his involvement in coming out and walking with Carry the Load, you can see the active PTSD and the healing for himself as well. And you see that amongst so many that take part within Carry the Load is they're starting to share their stories in a safe environment, and it's okay, and it's healing for them. People understand it, they get it, and they can talk with somebody about it.
Absolutely. It is really healing. And if you go to carrytheload.org, you can click on some videos, not only that explain more about the event, but stories. We just had Karina Mitchell, Boots to Heals program on last week. And Karina and I have known each other for a number of years. And you guys highlight not only first responder stories, but veteran stories, and even stories of those that haven't returned, that didn't come back. And I think last year, John Edmondson and I, our partner in a Badge of Honor, we were doing a video at Reverchon Park, and we were sitting in front of Staff Sergeant Brian Burgess's storyboard, and I know I met Brian's parents before, and so it was like I'm walking, and I was like, oh my gosh, okay, the signs from Brian. We're doing our live video in front of Brian's board, and now this year, Brian's on the bus. When I saw that, I was like, first of all, I get emotional. You can't help but get emotional, because just being in Reverchon Park, being with the families of the fallen, reading the stories, remembering the stuff that you went through, being grateful that you're here to be able to carry for them. It all comes full circle, and you guys do a first class operation all the way. As far as I understand, all of the relays have started. Do I have that correct?
I believe the Mountain States starts this week.
Okay, so Mountain hasn't started yet. So if you're not sure what we're talking about the relay here. So what we're going to do is how do people, if they're not in Dallas, okay, how can people participate either in the relay or maybe in one of the rallies?
Yes, so if you go to carrytheload.org and you look at our program section, you're going to see Memorial May. All 5 national relays are listed there, and it'll lay out you'll see the highlighted section of where the relay goes through to get a sense of which one that you need to hone in on. And then you can scroll through, and it has every segment of every relay walk and or rally that the team is going through outlined. So the relay team, and this is a beautiful thing, is the relay teams are college students that are dedicating their time to do this for a full month. So they're out, rain or shine, unless there's lightning. And they after the Dallas Memorial March, they do a really good job of honoring even the relay teams, and it changes their lives because they tell their stories after the fact of what that did for them and the patriotism throughout this country, because they see it for an entire month, and it's beautiful.
Some of those people are walking, and I know Katrina said it yesterday. Her husband jumped on board, and he's walking 1,600 miles, right from New York, from upstate New York here. So this is 30 days of walking.
Yeah.
I mean, now we're coming from New York, we're coming from California and the mountain states. These people are it's just not one walk, it's every single day. They are just coming through to meet in this relay. Get out on the street, get an American flag, support them, cheer them on in their walk. That is huge. If you can't support any other way, you get out on the street and support them and cheer them on as they continue their walk.
And you know what we heard Karina say that you go out and walk with them, share your story.
Yeah.
Share your story, because everybody that is walking along in this relay and at Reverchon Park, we'll talk about how it culminates in Dallas. We're out there. We're sharing the things that we've been through. It's very healing for her. She saw it, and she got out there. She started talking, and it was life-changing for her. You hear these stories over and over and over again. You'll meet some of the most amazing people that you never thought that you'd meet in your life. And so these relays that we're talking about, they all meet in Reverchon Park in Dallas. And so explain a little bit about how you have all these relays from across the country, how it happens. It's magic.
It is magic. There's a phenomenal team behind it. Matt Fryman actually leads that as the National Relay Director for Carry the Load. And it's been building over time. So 2 years ago was the first time they had 5 national relays that touches the lower 48 states and they culminate. They walk in together into the Dallas Memorial March, which is the capstone event. So in Dallas, they'll march for 20 hours straight in honoring, again, those that are no longer here. And I'll just tell you, said it, get out on the walk. There's nothing more moving than to see walking in a rural place in the country and look down and see a child who's carrying their parent and wanting to share their story or hear stories of their mom or dad that's no longer here.
Yeah.
That's powerful. That's a powerful moment, and we need more of that. We need more support in this area. We need more support across the country for that child, for the families that have lost, right? And we have to bring this remembrance back. And that's why God bless every member of Carry the Load for doing what you guys do. Because if not for you, a lot of this stuff would still remain barbecues and beach balls, on Memorial Day. We have to bring this back. We have, it's okay to barbecue. It's okay to have a hamburger. It's okay to celebrate, but know why you're celebrating is the key factor. All right. Know why you're there and take that moment. Like Hallie says, take that moment and reflect on the men and women who've served this country. Say a prayer, say the anthem, look up at a flag, take your hat off, show respect to our country. And that's what you guys are bringing back. And that's what we need back. We need to feel it in our hearts. We need to feel it, not just, like you said, at a mattress sale. We need to feel it in our hearts on why Memorial Day is so important.
Absolutely. And we'll talk about why 3:00 on Memorial Day is very important. We'll be right back, everybody. Stay tuned.
To the Health Engineer Show. I'm Kurt Fuquay, the Health Engineer, right here on the Offbeat 50.
Hi, I'm Larry Corkamp, this is
Hi, my name is Susan Hamilton, and you're watching Offbeat.
Hi, this is Doreen Milano. Welcome to Big Ideas Small Business, where we will talk to Terry Arjala.
Hey, welcome to a Badge of Honor podcast with John and Sam. I'm sorry, I'm watching my battery life on my laptop just dwindle down. I'm just texting you, Sam. I'm down to 20%. My battery is going dead on my laptop. So if I abruptly leave you, it's not that the aliens or the black things have come and got me. It was my battery went dead. So we were talking about Memorial Day and what it means to everybody and how we have to bring back the spirit of Memorial Day, and Carry the Load is doing that each and every year as they grow. But Sam, before we left, we were talking about 3:00 on Memorial Day and what it means. So share some of that with us.
Yeah, Hallie, you want to explain what 3:00, what we can do?
3:00 local time, no matter where you are across the country. That is the dedicated ask of Americans to take a moment of silence and remember those that are no longer here with us and the sacrifice that they have given over the years that allows Americans to have the freedoms that they have. And you have that nowhere else across the world.
Yeah, it's really important. So it's like, I was listening to ATO's podcast. They're another wonderful nonprofit partner. Love those guys. And they were talking about the importance of 3 p.m. and that, we wrap up things at Reverchon Park prior to 3 so that we can be with our families. We can be with our friends. We're with our loved ones and we are remembering and having fun and honoring the way that we want to honor it. But at 3, just pause for a minute. And it is really important to do that. Let's talk about what happens in Reverchon Park in these last few minutes that we have together over the Sunday and Monday.
Can I ask just one question before 3 p.m.? Is there a significance why they pick 3 p.m.? Is there a significance about the time? I'm just wondering.
I'm sure there is, but I didn't scour the White House.
Oh, okay.
I just
I'll look to see if there's a significance of 3, but I'm not.
I just didn't know. I want to educate myself on this, and I was like, "Wow, 3 p.m. Why 3 p.m.?" And Well, I'm going to do some research and I'll find out. I'll tell you next week.
So if you're in Dallas and you want to come out to Rivershon Park, what can folks expect on Sunday and Monday, Memorial Day?
Yep, on Sunday there'll be a kickoff ceremony, really highlighting not only the national relay teams coming in, but kicking off the actual Dallas Memorial March. So that march is, we would love if people could spend 30 minutes or an hour, but you'll have some folks that are out there for the full 20 hours, and it goes along the Katy Trail, and the team does a beautiful job of aligning the Katy Trail with those memory tribute boards that you mentioned previously. So as you're walking, you have an immense amount of time to read the stories of all those that loved ones submitted stories on behalf of, and they want to continue that year over year. On Monday is when they'll do the closing ceremony, as you indicated right before the moment of silence. And actually Sunday evening, I'll get the exact time in San John, but I can send that to you. They actually do a Vietnam vet pinning ceremony. So if we actually get the names of those that would like to take part in that, they do a welcome home pinning ceremony as well.
Yeah, it is very moving. Sit down, do interviews, and there's lots of interviews going on throughout the park the whole day, throughout the entire event. Also, amazing volunteer corps, and if you want to volunteer, there's still plenty of time. I'm gonna pop the banner up here. Go to carrytheload.org. Get in touch with the staff. You can volunteer. There's lots of stuff to do. Want to thank everybody who takes the time to check us in, to feeding everybody, to making sure that everybody's staying overnight in the park. You can stay overnight is safe. Those that are on the Katy Trail throughout the night. The Dallas Police Department, who's out there making sure we're all safe. And we walk rain or shine, and except for lightning, like you said, it's the same rules, because we have had to pause a couple of times throughout the years for the lightning and get off the trail. But it really is, if you have the opportunity to be out there and walk in the evening, it is, if it's you're by yourself or with one other friend, get on the trail, read the storyboards. You will feel there is an energy. It's unlike being anywhere else when you are on the Katy Trail and it is super quiet. And you're reading the names, you're saying the names to yourself. It's almost like there's like a universal, hey, we're here, thank you for remembering going on. There's no other way to explain it other than that. It's an intense, just feeling of awe, kind of.
Have you ever watched Happy Gilmore?
Happy Gilmore?
Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen Happy Gilmore?
Yeah.
I'm just sorry, but I got to break the
We're taking a left turn here, folks.
I know, because I got to break this a little bit. When his golf coach passed away, right? He got eaten by the alligator, right? And then at the very end, he's looking up at the sky, and he sees his golf coach looking down at him, so proud, right? That's what the Katy Trail is. You're walking through that Katy Trail. You see these storyboards. Now I'm getting chills because each and every one of those faces is right above you, looking at you, saying, thank you. Thank you for walking for me. Thank you for remembering me. So each storyboard, man, it just reminded me of like the Happy Gilmore scene where he's just looking down and going, you know what? Thank you. And that's what each storyboard represents, is somebody above us saying thank you for remembering me.
Absolutely. So, Hallie, we got about a minute left. Tell people how they can get involved and where to go to do that.
Yes. Again, thank you guys. It's a pleasure to be partners with the Badge of Honor. But to get involved this May, go to carrytheload.org. Look at Memorial May. There's also links on there for Dallas Memorial March. Again, we have 5 national relays, and I can't show up, learn about the stories or tell stories of loved ones, family members, community members, and I can't say enough of how much it means to those that are still serving, but also those Gold Star families that need to see their country still supporting, and that the death of their loved one was worth it.
Absolutely. Well, Hallie, thank you so much for spending this time with us this evening. It really is, folks. Just get out there and come to Dallas and get on the trail. And thank you, Hallie. Thank you for your service, for your sacrifices, everything that you saw that you did, your family as well. And we look forward to seeing you here in Dallas in a few weeks. And yeah, it's just an honor to be partners with this incredible organization.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. I look forward to it as well.
And since you're coming from New York, bring bagels. Bring bagels. Bring bagels.
All right, thank you guys.
There you go. Thanks, Hallie.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, can't say enough. Again, not only about Hallie's service. I mean, folks, badass Black Hawk helicopter pilot, deployed to Afghanistan. All of her support. Her dad served in Vietnam. Her mom was also a Huey helicopter pilot.
Yeah,
that was a surprise, John. That was
third in her class at West. Third in her class at West Point. That's an accomplishment that, I mean, there are not many cadets that make that top 10, and she is the third in her class. So God bless her. She's very, very educated, smart, and
absolutely. So, if you've been listening, John just froze. He might be losing power here. If go to carrytheload.org, okay, carrytheload.org. You can find out more there. You can volunteer through there. And, for next year, if you have a loved one, you want to submit a storyboard, go ahead and do that. We are nonprofit partners. A badge of honor is nonprofit partners. What does that mean? Go on to abadgeofhonor.com, scroll down. You'll see the Carry the Load banner. It looks just like this, the flag there. Click on it. You'll see what we're about, why we're raising the money that we're raising. The money goes to Carry the Load. And then because we are the Continuum of Care, it comes back to us so that we can provide scholarships to our first responders to attend wellness and resiliency workshops that we put on. So go there. That's how you directly support. Okay. Go to our website. You can also, I think that's John texting me. Yes, he lost power, and you can support again by subscribing. Thank you to everybody who tunes in each week to the podcast. We cannot thank you enough. Just go on and subscribe, hit that support button. We've also got a donate button up on the website for our Roundup for First Responders program. Click that donate button, and it is with great pleasure that, and it is such an honor that not only do we get to partner with amazing organizations like Carry the Load, but an amazing director, producer, Conrad Weaver out of Emmitsburg, Maryland, PTSD 911, the movie. This movie is extremely powerful. We are completely honored to be able to partner with the city of Garland here in Texas to bring the movie to Garland. It's open to the public. What we want to do is we want to create a bridge of conversation so that the public can meet the local first responders that are answering the calls to their communities every day to talk about what goes on in the first responder's life, because we can't unsee what we've seen over a career and how that affects us. And it really is a bridge into us talking with the public about what they need and their mental health concerns and vice versa. So come out. That is going to be Saturday, June 24th at 6:30 p.m. in Garland. Tickets go on sale this Friday, this Friday at 9:11 a.m. Okay. And you can go to our website to purchase those tickets. They're only $10. This is a fundraising event. Again, the money goes back to mental health, all into brain health for first responders and beyond. So please, this Friday, go to our website, 9:11 a.m. Get your tickets for that because it will sell out. The theater holds just around 320 tickets. And so we've got vendors that you can meet out there. And we've also got on the website a event calendar. Click on the event calendar. You can find out what is going on around the Metroplex, our initiative called Walk the Bridge. And you can join us each month, the third Sunday of each month, on a bridge near you, or start one in your hometown. Again, we want to thank Hallie, Johnston with Carry the Load for coming on, sharing what Carry the Load is all about, and really setting the tone for Memorial May. Okay. We are going to continue to do this all the way through Memorial Day. We're bringing on other nonprofit partners to talk about Carry the Load, to talk about their mission, to talk about how we give back to the veteran and first responder community. And as you know, to all those first responders, we are praying for you every single day. Thank you for keeping us safe here at home. To all of those who are serving, our active duty members, thank you for what you're doing around the world, keeping us safe. For our veterans, thank you for what you did. So we have a platform right here, and we get to do this week after week. And as John always says, if you can be anything in this world, be kind. And until next week, everybody, God bless you. We will see you then. Thank you so much.
A Badge of Honor podcast is produced for the OBBN Network podcast and protected under copyright law. For content permissions, please submit your request to abadgeofhonor.com on the content page. For OBBN Network programming information, please call 214-714-0495 today.